All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we will be checking out some red-black Garp action. That's right guys, red-black Garp. I know a lot of people have been requesting this for some time now. And yeah, we're finally going to be diving into this in today's video. So let's go ahead and hop into it. First things first, let me go ahead and lay out the video so you know what you're getting into. We're going to be checking out the deck list. And then after that, we're going to check out 5 games on the sim. I think it's 4 or 5 games on the sim. And then after that, we're going to check out the deck list one more time. I'll give you guys my final thoughts on it moving forward, and we'll wrap it up in that way. So I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any questions, suggestions, or whatever, please don't hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is sponsored by Nin Garden. Their summer kickoff sale is live, and they are offering 10 to 60% discounts across the entire store. So be sure to check that out, and don't forget to use my code, TheVVTheory, at the checkout for an additional 5% off. Now, let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. We got quite a bit to talk about here with good old our buddy Garp. You know, Grandpa Garp over here. Quite a bit to go over. First, we're going to read the leader, okay, and then we'll go through the deck list. So, 5,000 power, 4 life, red-black Navy leader, Monkey D. Garp. Your turn, you may attach, when you attach Dawn to this leader or one of your characters, give up to one of your opponent's cost 7 or lower characters, -1 to their cost during this turn. So that effect is going to allow for us to do quite a few things. Let me move the leader screen now. That effect is going to allow us to drop down the cost of characters quite a bit, you know, over the course of the game, dropping things even further down so that we can hit bigger targets with our Brook. Now, we do have to be able to get over the 7 cost range there. There are other ways we can do that. We have Suru to drop them down to 7 cost, Tashigi, Kuzan, the 10 cost Kuzan, things like that. Because here's the thing, once you drop a character, like say they're a 10 cost character, or say it's even something like Jack. We'll look at the deck list in a minute. Say you're going against like someone who has Jack on the field, they're an 11 cost character. If I attack for 4, okay, and then go, if I attack it with Kuzan and drop the cost of a Jack by 4, they go down to 7 cost. Okay, well now up to one of my opponent's 7 cost or lower characters is within range of my Garp's ability, and we can start hitting them from there just by attaching Dawn and doing things like that. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and run through the list and we'll talk about it. We're running 3 Peacock. Now, one more thing I should mention. This is an OP11 legal list, okay? We're now moving into OP11 over here on the West, okay? So, we're running 3 Peacock. This is the new Navy Searcher from OP11. We're running 3 Doll. All of these red cards are new. We'll go through these in just a minute, okay, after we go through the list. So, we're running 3 Peacock, 3 Doll, 2 Hibari, 2 Borsalino, 4 Brook. I know a lot of people are probably wincing at that, like, oh, 4 of them? We'll talk about it in a minute. 2 T-Bones, 3 Sengoku, 4 Kuzan, 4 Suru, 3 Borsalino, 2 of the 10 cost Kuzan, 4 Branu, 2 Sabo, 2 Monchery, 4 Rebecca, 2 Jack, and 4 Tashigi. Now, let's go ahead and run through the new cards real quick and talk about them. I wanted to try like a full-on Navy theme for the most part in this deck, and yes, I know not everything in here is Navy. We got Jack, we got Sabo, Monchery, Rebecca, Brook. We have that whole entire combo, which we'll talk about in a second. And technically, this guy is not Navy as well. This Kuzan here, he is former Navy, and he cannot be searched up by brand new or the new Peacock Searcher here. It does a top 5 search for cards. It does a top 5 search for Navy type cards in winged brackets. We cannot search up former Navy with Peacock. So we are running 3 Peacock still though, because we can activate main to trash this to buff one of our Navy characters for the turn by 1,000, filling up our trash. And on top of that, it gives us an on-play effect here to look at 5 cards from the top of our deck and reveal to search up a Navy card. Now, this card is not as good as brand new. Even though we can play this out on turn 1 going first or second, it actually doesn't really matter. We would rather have brand new pretty much every single time because he does a top 3 search and fills up 2 cards in our trash. Well, why does that matter? Like, especially with these red cards filling up our trash, we can only really get back black cards in this deck with Sengoku and Rebecca. That's true. However, Monchery still needs to put cards into the trash in order to get back other cards. So we can put, notice what this says, rest this character and return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. Well, we can always just push the red cards back to the bottom of our deck in any order, and then pull back a black card that we need that costs 3 to 5. Okay, so that's the idea going on there. So it is still good when we fill up our trash with cards like Brand New, and then if we do push a bunch of black cards, especially black Navy cards, into our trash, we're going to be able to get further value later in the game with Sengoku. Okay, so there's Peacock. Then we have Doll. This is a new blocker, a Navy blocker from OP11. It is a 4-cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter blocker. Nothing too special there, but check out the next part. On play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, and if your leader has the Navy type, of course Garp is Navy, give up to one of your opponent's characters a minus 6,000 power for the turn. Guys, that's actually massive if you think about it. Minus 6,000 might as well be removal, because if you played out like a Brand New or something earlier in the game, and then you give a character minus 6,000 power, if they were a 9,000 power character, they would be a 3,000 power character at that point, and Brand New would be able to attack into them just, without even attaching a single Dawn. So this Doll card is actually very, very good for what we're trying to do. Next up is Hibari. I was trying this out in the deck. It's a 5-cost 6k, no counter, Navy. It is Navy searchable, and it says on play, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. The on play is not bad. It's not game breaking or game winning or anything like that. But if this character sticks around, that when attacking effect is actually very good. Notice what it does. This character gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. That's when attacking, so it swings for 7 without any Dawn invested. And then if your leader has the Navy type, up to one of your leaders may attack active characters during, if your leader has the Navy type, up to one of your leaders may attack active characters during this turn. So we'll be able to attack into active characters with our Garp if we attack in with Hibari. Okay, so really good stuff there. And then last but not least, we're trying out this new Borsellino in the deck. This card is really solid. It is a 3-cost, 3,000 power character with a 1k counter. It has blocker, and then activate main. You may rest this character, and then up to one of your Navy-type leaders or characters can attack active characters during this turn. So this card allows you to attack with your leader or a character into active characters for the turn. And you are tapping down a blocker, so they'll probably attack into it. But hey, it did its job at that point anyway, and then you got to attack into an active character. Okay, so that's it for the new stuff. Nothing else is really new other than the EB02 Sengoku. I have shown this off in a pretty recent video, I think in my Green-Black Isho video. And this build takes a lot of inspiration from that build, from the Green-Black Isho build, because I do think there is a set package to run in black right now. If you're running Navy, you add Sengoku to that. But I think there's a set package you're going to want to run for the most part in black, almost no matter what you're running. And that package would be Brooke, Moncherie, Sabo, Rebecca, and then I even want to add Jack to that, and then Kuzan. I would say those cards right there, and soon I think this Jack will become the 7-cost Teach once we get access to that in a ST27 or whatever it is coming out soon. Because here's the bottom line. They hit the same target, and while Jack is easier to protect because he acts as a 11-cost character, and he does cycle every time he uses his activate main. The thing about the Marshall D Teach, though, is, okay, whenever they do get rid of that card, like say they swing 10 into it, if they can even deal with it, okay, no problem. Now we can start grabbing cards like Kuzan out of our trash. And that's actually a very big deal. Being able to grab this card out of trash and play it next turn after they invested everything to get rid of our 7-cost 8k, that ends up being very, very good for us. So, okay, good stuff there. Okay, so that's the Jack. We talked about that whole entire package there, like I said. And again, this goes across any deck running black. You have like this incredible 20-card like core of the deck that's kind of just established, and you can mix and match this into any leader that runs black in the game. And that's, again, it's 4 Brooke, 4 Rebecca, 2 Moncherie, so that's 10 cards right there, and then probably 2 Sabo, at least 2 Jack, and at least 2 Kuzan. So that's like a 16-card package, and then I would round it off with 4 of something like Suru, so you have your 2k counter and a -2 cost attack on, and help out with your reductions with things like Jack. And I bet a lot of people would run Kuzan just because it's a good card. Draws to replace itself, and whenever it attacks, it just goes from there. But if you want to have something more basic, you can run Laboon, the 4-cost Laboon. Let me bring that up right now for the newer players who don't know which one I might be talking about. This right here can take the place of Kuzan in any blacklist, and then all of a sudden you have like this 24, 25 card package that is just core to the deck. That's half the deck taken care of right then and there. You know what I mean? It works out nicely. Okay, now let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Let's talk about the cost of some of these cards, specifically Laboon, if you choose to go with that, or Brooke. If you're trying to play LeBrun, there are other options. Like I said, if you're running a Navy deck, Kuzan's just the natural replacement. But if you're not running a Navy deck, there is a Shirahoshi in the game that came from ST08. I think this is still under a $5 card. I could be mistaken. And again, this is at the time of recording this. Who knows what happens in the future? But I still think this card is somewhere under $5. It's a 4 cost, 0 power, 1k counter blocker, on play -4 cost during this turn. So it acts very similar to Kuzan. It acts very similar to the way that Kuzan does. Okay, so good stuff there. But in this deck, it doesn't have the same synergy with something like Sengoku. But if you need a replacement for something like Laboon in a deck you're trying to play, Shirahoshi is a decent replacement for now that's quite a bit cheaper. Now, Brook, there is a very good replacement for Brook anytime you're trying to do a Navy deck. And it is Kobe. It is a 3 cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter Kobe. So they have the exact same stat line, and they both have an on play to KO a character. But here's the difference. Kobe does not have a win attacking, and Kobe requires you to trash a card from your hand to KO a character. But as a result, you can KO something that's 2 cost larger, typically, right? Because even though Brook KOs a 0 power character, he comes into play and attacks and gives -1. So he kind of KOs a 1 cost or lower by himself every time, whereas the Kobe KOs a 3 or less every time. So very solid card here. This gets the job done. If you have to replace the Brook. And this does make the deck slightly more consistent because you're going to have more Navy searchable characters, and Navy searchable removal is not a bad thing. I can imagine that would have helped me out in quite a few situations as we're checking out today's games. Okay, I think that's about it. That's really the most to talk about here. Out of all these cards, I will go over this again at the end of the video, but I have to say I'm really falling in love with this Navy package here with like the Dressrosa support plus Brook and the former Kuzan guy here, former Navy Kuzan, and then the 7 cost Jack, which I really want to replace very soon with the 7 cost Teach. I love this idea of being able to recycle everything I have, getting cards out of my trash, developing the board, removing my opponent's board. This entire package within black is shaping up to be a very strong control package. Okay, so all right, that's about it for the deck list, guys. Let's go ahead and hop into some games and check out this deck in action. So first game up, we have against Hody Jones. Let me move this over like that. There we go. That's the easiest way to do it. And okay, volume is off. Whoops, now it is. And then let's go speed 2x, and here we go. First game up is against Hody Jones. Hody Jones, this is not my craziest match of the day. I will tell you that right now, because black does very well into green. That's just kind of how things are right now. It is what it is, right? Now this guy's going to get a pretty decent start here. He's going to play out the Zeo here to start, attacking into my board and dealing with stuff there. Let me go back and read what that card does for the people who might not know, and I can't even remember barely off the top of my head. So this is a 2 cost. This is meant to be a 2k counter. It's a 2 cost 3k. But it has Dawn ×1 when attacking if your leader has the new Fishman Pirates type. Set up to one of your Dawn is active, and this character gains +1000 power during this turn. Then add the top card of your life to your hand. Now, Hody Jones can counteract that type of interaction with his leader effect and rest down the Peacock, and now he can start smashing into my board. So there's a lot of pretty cool, there's a lot of cool stuff that can happen there. Okay, but we don't really care about that the Peacock. And Hody Jones can only rest down a 3 cost or lower target with his leader effect. So we are going to go ahead and play out Brook here and see what he wants to do. And looks like he's going to swing for 6. We are going to 2k counter out of that. Now that I've seen he's used his leader effect, he can't attack my Brook, and we're pretty happy about that. Okay, so we're 1 cost away from really messing up my opponent's board here, because we could have almost developed the Kuzan as well here. And this is a situation where Shirahoshi might have just been a better target. It's hard to say. But okay, we're going to go ahead and swing in for 6 here, and then swing in for 7, removing the Tashigi. And then let's see if they get any trigger. Okay, no trigger. And now we're just going to, yeah, I don't think we have any other play. We're not going to play out the Monshri, so we're just going to swing in for 7. Monshri is not good to develop against Hody Jones because they can just use their leader effect to tap it down and then protect their board. So here we go. They're going to use their effect this time. They're going to tap down the Peacock. They're probably going to swing 4 into Brook, I would imagine, or more. Let's see what they choose to do here. They chose to not play something out for the turn first. They had 5 Dawn. They could have played that out first, cheating out the Arlong, using the effect, and then standing a Dawn as active. But maybe they just didn't care with that that character, the 2 cost character's effect. Okay, here we go. So I'm always gonna prioritize going for the board, but at the same time, I cannot go for that 2 cost card because my leader cannot attack due to the 4 cost Arlong's effect. Very, very solid effect here, but I still have to attach Dawn to something on the board here in order to get the effect to do Dawn minus cost to their character for my Rebecca plus Brook play here to get rid of the Arlong. Okay, so we got rid of that character. Seems good. Now, if they want to attack into Peacock, they can be my guest here. I don't care at all about that card. They're going to use their leader effect. They're going to, okay, they can't rest down any 3-cost or lower targets. And now they're just going to smash into the Brook, and I'm probably just going to save it. Because, okay, they only have 6 on left for the turn. They do tap out early. I'd say this is not the greatest game here, guys, like I said. I think they meant to... Let's talk about what they should have done there. They should have... I think they only meant to attach 1 Dawn to that character, and then I think they were going to swing 7, but I don't know why they would do that. I think what they should have just done is do the Hody Jones first, the 7-cost Hody in hand, just play that out, tapping down the Rebecca, and then just attack everything into my board. But here's the thing, guys. I think we were on a 7 Dawn turn this turn, so we're going into a 9 Dawn turn. All that we're going to do on this follow-up, we get a Hibari for the turn, so that might change things, actually. But even if we didn't do that, we could actually play out the Moncherie, develop another Rebecca, pulling out the oops, sorry guys, I just hit my microphone. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. But we can play out the Moncherie, develop some more cards and go from there. Or we could have done something with Sengoku pulling out cards from the trash. We had a few options. They did misplay there, and they left a little bit early. But here's the thing. On the following turn, after our next turn, when we get to a Tindon, we're going to drop down Kuzan, and we're going to start smashing everything. Like, that's where things get really out of hand for our opponent, but they did leave a little abruptly there. Excuse me. Okay, next up we have a game against Blue-Purple Luffy. Now, buckle up, guys. This game is a banger. Let me make sure the volume's off. Speed is on 2x. This is quite a long game, and yeah. I really can't wait to see what people say about this one in the comments section below. We're going to go second. They go turn 1, nothing. We go turn 1, Peacock. And let's see what happens next. They're going to smash in for 8. Seems pretty good. I can't counter out of this even if I wanted to. Or it'd take like all the cards in my hand. We're not doing that. So right here, we're going to go and play out the brand new. Fill up our trash a little bit. We can only get... well, we could have got the 2K counter or the doll there. We get the blocker. We're going to swing for 7. They take the hit. We're going to pass the turn. And now they're going to be on their 5 Dawn turn. Okay, I think they're afraid to play their ramp stuff, like their 3-cost Zoro, or maybe they just didn't see it. Hey, we're fine with it either way. They're going to swing it for 6. We're going to 2K counter out. We want to try to keep our life as high as possible. They're going to play out the Nami. Look at their hand right now, guys. I know they're going to remove 2 of those cards, but still, that is crazy. Okay, so right here, I think what we're going to do, we can do some tricky plays here, like with the, we could do some tricky plays with our doll. And watch this. So we swing for 6. And let's see what they choose to do here. I think, yeah, they just 1K counter out. There's that Zoro we were talking about. And now we're going to play out a Hibari, and we're going to threaten, to be able to attack into active characters next turn. They say, okay, well, I don't want you to do that. So they attack in with their leader. We have to take that. Again, we're actually very short on 2K counters right now. That is not a good feeling. And we don't have many good cards in our trash to play out this Sengoku with. So we're going to -1 there. We're going to swing for 6. They're going to go ahead and use that effect. Okay, sure, sounds good. We're just going to play out the Jack here. We're going to cycle out a card. I think I'm going to get rid of one of these dolls, or maybe brand new. Yep, we're going to get rid of the brand new, cycling, and then just not KOing anything because there was no 3-cost or lower target in play. That was not a misplay. That's just all the Dawn we had access to, guys. All right, they're going to swing 10 into 8, so we are going to save this character for sure. We're not letting it go. They're going to swing 6 into us. We're down to 1 life, guys. This is a brutal start to the game. And we have to, guys, we have one scary turn here. We do have one scary turn here where I think we're going to have to develop this Kuzan. Okay, let's pause and talk about this. It gets rid of a character, which is nice, but we can't hit that. We can't even hit the Luffy. But hear me out, guys. When it comes to this position right here, yes, we are very vulnerable, by the way. We are very, very vulnerable here, but it's a chance that we had to take. We absolutely had to take the chance here and develop this Kuzan, or we're just never going to get into this game. We're never going to have a chance in this game. So this is a scary turn, that's for sure. This is definitely a scary turn. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we're going to cycle out a card with the Jack here, and hey, yeah, hey, one thing they could have done, so they're going to be on 10 Dawn. They're using their leader effect. They're going to go up to 10 Dawn. Pause. I think they forgot to try to just swing for lethal here, guys, because what they could have done on a 10 Dawn turn is they had 26k power. They could have swung for 13 and 13. Well, let's see if we could have gotten out of it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We only have 7,000 power in counter to get to 12. So technically, if we get a 2K counter from life, I guess we could have gotten out of it. or if they had messed up the math with that, right? Then we could have gotten out of it as well. If, like, say they tried to swing for 11 and then everything else on the leader, we actually could have gotten out of that by going, so we're at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? That would have been the only other way we could have gotten out of it. Or if they try to do a 12K perfectly, that would have gotten us too, if they try to go 12 and then 14. But I think an 11K attack would have been the best bet here to start off with. Now I know he can't commit for lethal. Right now, we can actually play around everything he's trying to do. I think he should have done an 11K or at least a 10K, because I understand wanting to leave a Dawn active at the end of turn for Gum Gum Giant, but at the same time, again, I would have just at least done a 10K poke, and you know what I would have done? I had to respect that attack. I would have had to give him all these 2Ks and 1Ks and everything, and then he still could have made this play right here and gone from there. But watch this. Now that he doesn't have that option, we can play around him perfectly. Excuse me. And they're going to go 10 into 8. Okay, well, you better believe we're going to 2K, 1K to get out of that. Yeah, we have to save Jack. We have no other option. They're going to swing in. We are down to 0 life, guys. We're down to 0 life. This is not good. So what we can do here, we're going to get rid of the Katakuri immediately. And then we can't really get rid of this, the Kuzan, or excuse me, the Luffy with the Kuzan. So we're kind of in a tough spot. So what I think we're going to have to do, we have to establish blockers. We have no choice. We have to establish some blockers here, and we just have to hope they don't have a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. So we're going to play out the Rebecca, cheating out the brand new. We do have some counter power now. We have some counter power now. We're going to give plus 1,000 to the Kuzan. We're going to use the doll here to minus 6,000 to that Luffy. We're going to go 6 into it first. We're going to go 6 into 4. I seriously doubt he's going to try to save this. Maybe he will. Who knows? Okay, well, that's fine. He decided to save it. Well, there's no way he's going to save it now. 12 into 4, not happening, right? Not happening. Okay, and here we go. Now it's their turn. I've got 2 blockers on the board. I just have to hope that he does not have a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Okay, he's going to use his Charlotte Linlin. He does not want to bounce one of my characters back to my life, which I think is a little bit greedy, I'm not going to lie, because it still gets a character off the board. But I guess it does let us ignore an attack. Okay, he's going to swing for 6. I'm going to 2K, obviously. I'm going to block out of that to keep a blocker on the board. And this was a turn I was hoping to be able to get down another Kuzan, but I simply can't, because if he removes one of my blockers, I have to be able to get out of his attack. I have to be able to get out of it, so we're going to have to do things a little bit differently. We're going to keep swinging into these characters on the board to try to get cards out of our opponent's hand, because if we attack into our opponent, they're on 3 life. We're not going for lethal this turn, so that will just give them an extra card, and then they still get their leader's effect. We have to keep trying to go for this board to the best of our ability. We're going to poke a 10 into 9 here and see what happens. Yeah, because I would really, really like to... Okay, they're going to use a gear too, and watch this, guys. They went down to 7 Dawn, but watch what happens here. I just want to kick myself over what happens next, guys. It's so frustrating. It is so frustrating, but hey, it happens. We're going to use out the Monchery. We're going to do some searching here. We're going to push back a red card and a 1 cost there. We're going to grab back a Rebecca. We're going to use the Jack first before playing out the Rebecca. I think we're going to do some cycling here. Actually, we have to get rid of one of these cards. We'll do -1. We'll attach 1 Dawn to my leader, -1 to the Linlin, and then we're going to tap this to KO that, and then watch this. I think we swing right here. This is so frustrating. Sorry, guys. This is so frustrating to watch right here. If it's the turn I'm thinking of. So I swing 9. Okay, this is not the turn I was thinking of. Excuse me. This is not the turn. But something happens. I could have sworn something happened here where they get back up to 8 Dawn. So we play that out. Okay, pass. Okay, so no, it didn't. This is not the game I was thinking of. I think this was a different game or a different turn where I actually attacked in and gave them a Thunder Bagua trigger. It really frustrated me. It might have been during testing. So, okay, here we go. I have to get out of this. So I 2K to get out of the other one. We block out of both of these massive attacks here, and we are starting to whittle their hand down. We're starting to finally whittle their hand down. This was a turn I could have potentially tried to go for lethal, but it was way, way too unlikely. Okay, here we go. 10 into 9. I wish I had gone 11 into 9. Let me tell you right now, guys, I wish I had gone 11 into 9. That was just a play mistake. So we're going to swing 4 into 6. They can't draw any cards off this. We're just giving -1 cost to their stuff. And again, this turn right here, so this turn was a play mistake. We have to go back and talk about this turn because there were a lot of things that happened here that should not have happened. We're just going to back up to the beginning of this turn because there was such a better, more optimal play we could have done here. So I could have just done plus 1 Dawn on Kuzan, swing 11 into 9. They have no Dawn active. They have to give me 2 cards from hand at least. And they might have two cards from hand. That's fine. But I could have actually just cleared out their entire board from here and just, you know, started developing a blocker from there, because we still would have Dawn left to use the TCG, if I'm not mistaken. Because if we go 11 into the Sanji, first of all, he might have just let that go, but we'd have gone -1 cost to the Luffy when we attached it on the Kuzan to swing 11 into their Sabo. And there's just so many different plays we could have done from here, guys. It's very frustrating. But we do have to try to play around certain effects as well, things like Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger. So I think this is a turn where I establish my Sengoku as a way to try to get around things like Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger. But let's see what happens here. Okay, so we're just going to do a blank swing 11 or 10 into 9 here. Again, just a play mistake. I wish I'd attached 1 Dawn and gone from there. We're going to go -1 there. I think I want to leave all my Dawn active and drop down a double blocker. That's probably what's going on here. Okay, so we swing in for 4. That's going to do -1 to the Luffy. They just need to pass on this. There's no reason to counter out. I'm swinging 4 into 6. Nothing will happen. I think they're just trying to, like, see if I'm trying to do any tricks here. We're going to trash the Kuzan, and that's going to get rid of the Luffy. We are going to play out the Sengoku, cheating out the Kuzan, I believe. Yeah, I don't even have any Borsalinos in my trash. And I run 3 in the deck. We just can't find the Borsalinos. So we're going to cheat out the Kuzan. It's going to draw us a card. We're going to play out a blocker over the Brook. We don't need that anymore, not for now. And now we have 2 blockers. We're starting to stabilize, guys. We're finally getting there. We're down to 0 life, but our board is stacked. We're going to remove a character every single turn or multiples, and we're in a good spot. Now, here's the thing. They're going to play out another Sanji, cheating out a Bentham. That was the only thing they had access to. We're going to block that with a 1K. They're going to swing. We're going to block with our chump blocker. And here we go. Okay, we're finally getting there, guys. Like I said, we're finally starting to get there where we can start beating this board up. Okay, let's go attach 1 Dawn this time. Do things the right way. That's right, guys. We're going to do things the right way for once. Seems good, right? Seems good. So we attack, and they do counter out aggressively. We're going to use the Jack here to do a cycle, and this was a really tough decision. I don't want to get rid of my 2K counter. I don't want to get rid of the Sengoku, but it might have been the right call to get rid of Sengoku there, guys. And now in this position here, we're going to swing for 5. We're going to give -4 there just so I can for sure get whatever I need to off the board. Okay, and we'll see what happens next. I think what I'm going to have to do is, I think I try to attack into his Sanji this turn, if I remember this correctly, and then I play out the Rebecca, cheating out of Brook to get rid of his final character here to go from there. I think that's what we end up doing here. This was a really scary turn for me. It's like, all right, here we go. You know, we're just going to load everything up. I think I go 12 into the on the Sengoku. You see, I was going to swing 10 with Garp into the Sanji, and I'm like, no, it's just... If he had countered out of this attack right here, concede, the game's over, he's got it. But it's like, you know what? This is my one last play here. I have to try to make this go through. It's my only chance. It goes through. You know, we're like, whew, we're doing one of these right now. We're going to play out the Rebecca, grabbing back a Brook, removing their character, replacing the Kuzan, and here we go. We're just hanging in there. Guys, we're just hanging on for dear life. They play out the Sanji into the Usohachi. I don't understand what the logic was there. If there was an Usohachi on the top of life, why on earth did they not just pull it to their hand and then rest down what they needed to? And then they could have swung in for lethal. That was just a strict play mistake from our opponent there. We had 1 card, we had 2 cards in hand. We got out of it. We're gonna smash through for we're gonna smash in there, and then watch this, guys. Now again, he's never keeping a character ever again. It will never happen. This man will never have a character for the rest of the game, guys. For the rest of the game. So we're gonna swing in for 6 here. Gonna swing in for 10. Okay, and now we're just going to leave these cards up, guys. Let's see what he gets. We're just going to pass. We have 1 card in hand. Whatever he attacks in with, we're blocking with Rebecca. That's just that simple. We're going to block with Rebecca unless he swings for 6. We get a free block off with Sengoku. Okay, they play out the Charlotte Linlin, trashing a card, gaining a life. They keep choosing to not protect, you know, or not push my cards out of the way. Right there, I'm going to let that card go because I can just get rid of... every turn, guys, I can Dawn -1 or Dawn 1 on my leader and just get rid of a card with Jack, no matter what they have on their board. Because the highest character they run is a 9 cost, and I have the 10 cost Kuzan down. So here we go. We're going to swing for 9 into 6 here. they'll probably give me... I swung for that exact number because of Gum Gum Giant. I want them to start using up their Gum Gum Giants, and they're at 9 Dawn, and this is going to drop them down to 7. This is the turn I was thinking of, guys. I think this is the turn I was thinking of. Watch this. If this is the turn I'm thinking of, it was so frustrating. So I swing it for 9. We get the Gum Gum Giant from their hand, I'm pretty sure. And then watch this. We swing for 10 with Kuzan, and that's when it happens. Yeah, okay, I'm like, cool. They're down to 7 cards, and now they're going to have to, you know... They're in trouble now. Watch this. We attack for 10. They're obviously going to take this one. This would have taken 3 cards from hand because they have no Dawn active. And watch this, guys. Thunder Bagua trigger gives them the 1 extra Dawn to go up to 8 Dawn before their turn starts. I was like, no, we're not like this. I thought we were done for right here. But then it's like, wait a minute. They only have 15 or 14 cards left in their deck. Watch this, guys. I'm going to mouse over their deck in a minute. I think they have 14 or 15 cards left in their deck. And at that rate, it's like, wait. Guys, the actual plan here to win the game might be to mill my opponent out of the... Yeah, look, they have 11 cards left in their deck. We might actually try to mill them at this point. Okay, right there, I did chump block with this with the Rebecca for some reason. That made no sense. I don't know why I did that. I could have just done an easy 7K block with Sengoku. Lots of play mistakes this game, guys, from me and my opponent. But hey, we're trying to learn new decks, guys. You know, OP11, we just got access to this over in the West. And yeah, it is what it is. Now, right here, we do end up trashing the Sabo. That's another card I actually wish I kept over one of the Borsalinos. Not because of the KO prevention, but because of the cycle. I could have gotten into something bigger. All right, so we're going to start swinging for 10s and 10s here, sitting on triple blocker after this. Watch this, guys. And at this point, the game is kind of over. No matter what they play, it'll just never be enough, right? Like, whatever they get down, we're just going to remove it. Okay, that was 3 cards from hand. We're going to swing for 10. They're going to take that, play out a third blocker, another Borsalino. And here we go. They're going to play out their... I think this is... Okay, they end up just conceding at this point. They played out another Lin. And again, I actually think it's smarter to just start pushing my cards into my life. Because, yes, it does, you know, allow me to take attacks. But at the same time, do you want to just let me have these characters on the board? Because then I get more options. And if you don't, I'm just going to block out anyway. Right? It just comes down to that. But I don't know. Maybe that is the right call at the end of the day. Who knows? We'll have to see. Okay, good game to my opponent. There were a lot of play mistakes in there, and for the people, you know, again, a lot of people are going to say, like, hey, if he had just played out, there was a turn where this guy could have won. Let me try and find it. It was right here. So this turn right here, guys, remember, he did a top 5 search, and unless he pushed those cards to the bottom of the deck and he got a lucky Usohachi from the top, I have no idea, by the way, guys. I have absolutely no idea, because when I record these games, I record with the overlay on, so I can't check the chat box real quick to see, you know, the information box to see if he actually put those cards to the bottom of the deck. I'm not sure. So unless he blind ripped and went for like a, you know, like surprise lethal on me, that's fine. But otherwise, he should have grabbed the Usohachi to hand from his top 5 search with his Luffy and tried to swing it for lethal from there. But again, that was also another, that was like a compounding issue that shouldn't have even been possible, because I should not have had to swing in with my 7-cost Sengoku this turn. Because here's the thing, remember, we had to swing for 11 into this guy, and he got out of it, but we should have swung for 11 into that card as well on this turn. Hopefully you guys remember this one. Watch this. On this turn right here, we had a mistake where I should have swung 11 into this card here to get more cards out of their hand. So again, it was like compounding issues, but hey, it happens. That's why we do these, to learn from our mistakes and stuff like that. Good game to my opponent. That was a wild game. Okay, next up we have a game versus Yellow Eustace Kid. Okay, so let's go volume off, speed on 2x, and here we go. Yellow Eustace Kid. Let me just say this. When it comes to like the black control package in the game right now that we're running in here, if I get down a Kuzan and a Jack, the game is basically over. Unless they can OTK me on the next turn, I'm just going to keep cycling through my deck and remove every card you play. Because the Kuzan drops everything down to a 5-cost or lower, and then the Jack hits everything 3, you know, that hits a 3 or lower, and we can just attach Dawn to our leader to lower the rest. So it's insane. It's a really, really strong combo. Okay, so here we go. They're going to play out the blocker killer here. We're in a very awkward situation. So, pause. Look at this. Look at this board state, guys. I want to remove both characters from the board, and I actually can do that with a Brook. So what I'm going to do this turn is I'm going to swing for 5 with my Kuzan and then 5 with my leader, and then I'm actually just going to remove both characters. And here's how I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to just give them a life with the killer. But here's the thing, I don't care if that killer's in life. Now it's not using its own KO effect and searching through their deck to the cards they really want to get. So I'm fine with KOing the killer and then Capone Beige putting it into life and then just removing the Beige, and now I have board and they have nothing, right? They have no board and we have the complete board. So real quick, we went second. They went first. I don't think they had a turn 1 play, but then they had a turn 2 into killer, into turn 3 Beige plus something else. I don't know how did they do that this turn, guys? We do have to go back real quick. Don't worry, this is a fast game. We will start over from the beginning here. So yeah, we went second. Yeah, they're going to go first, and then turn 1, I don't think they have a play. Turn 1 for us, we play out Peacock. We grab Kuzan. They're just going to swing in for 8 this turn, I believe, if this is what I'm thinking. Yep, swing in for 8. We end up taking it, no problem. And now we swing for 5. I think they end up, just countering out with the Sanji. We play out the Kuzan, and now here we are back to where we started, where they play out the Killer. They play out the Beige. Well, they should have swung for 5 first, technically. Then play out the Beige, they give it blocker, and here we go. So now we're stuck in this position where I actually want to develop both of my Brooks this turn. And I want to get rid of both their characters. Well, one character I can't really get rid of, quote unquote. I have to use like, pseudo removal on it, pushing into life, because the Capone Beige, the 2-cost card on the board, protects Supernova cards. So either way, it still ends up being the right call, like I said, because we're just going to get rid of his on KO effect. So we swing for 5. Then we swing for 5 more. They take both hits. Now we're going to play out the Brook, going -1 to the Beige, KOing the, KOing the Killer. And now, because Beige was on the board, that put it into life. Then, so he doesn't get his own KO effect, by the way. Then we play out the second Brook, and that's going to KO the Beige. Did you guys see that? Hopefully y'all saw that. Whenever you're choosing a target for Brook, you can give -1 to another target and then KO another 0-cost or lower character. Okay, well, they're back up to 5 life. They play out the Trafalgar Law. We are going to counter out aggressively to save that Kuzan. We don't want to lose that card. It's going to give us too much value. We're going to go -4 there. And now that is a 3-cost character. We're going to swing for 4, which won't do anything, giving -1 to that character. Then we'll attach it on to the Brook, -1, attack, -1, KO the character. And now we're going to swing for 5, and we still have 7 Dawn for the turn. We had no cards we could play out from the trash, unfortunately. Which is not a big deal. We still have a 7-cost 7,000 power blocker. Look at our board. Our board is massive. They're going to go 12 into 7. So the idea here is I can block out with Sengoku, but do I want to do that? I think the answer is no. I think the answer is actually no. Yeah, so we're going to swing for 5 and see what they choose to do. They just give me the blocker. So in this situation here, I wanted to develop the Monshri, but I just don't have enough cards in my trash. I might want to start including the 4-cost Black Kuzan that comes out in OP11. Or OP10, excuse me. Or no, it is OP11, excuse me. Okay, well, guys, if you've ever seen it, like, that's the most disgusting board ever that you're looking at right here, and they just got rid of one of my Brooks, but this guy's... I got all 4 Brooks this game, but I don't even think it matters. I only need 1. This game's pretty much a wrap. So swing in there. We're just swinging for 5s. We're just poking cards out of hand. We're going to give +1 to our Sengoku by playing out the Peacock. Or using the Peacock's activate main. Okay, we swing in for 8. They give me 2K. They are very scared to take life right now. We're going to swing for 9. We're going to swing for 10. Okay, then they play that card out. We're going to get rid of it, and I think we just passed the turn there. That spooked me a little bit. I don't want to like lose for some reason here for no reason. Okay, they're going to swing for 9 into 4. We're just going to let that go. We already have another Brook on the board. We're going to go -1. Guys, when you have, pause, this game's over. When you have down the Kuzan and a Brook and a blocker to defend, it is over. That Brook, by attaching 1 Dawn with Garp as your leader, you are getting, so 5, 6, 7. You're popping a 7 by attaching 1 Dawn and attacking for 5 with your Brook. It is, that's a wrap at that point. Good game to our opponent. We kind of had him up against the ropes there. Okay, next up we got a game versus Purple Kaido. Volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. Guys, it is a good feeling, I have to say. If you have not tried it yet on the sim, please try it with your favorite Black Navy leader to run like a package similar to this. Once you have down the 10-cost Kuzan, it is a nice feeling. It's a good feeling. So they're playing out the ramp ulti here. We play out the brand new to do some searching. We're going to swing for 5, and I think we're just going to develop a Kuzan here. Yeah, we don't care about removing that ulti. We could have, but that's a 2-cost 3K. If he wants to attach 2 Dawn to that character every turn to swing in, be my guest. So they're going to play out the new promo ulti. That's a 6-cost, 6,000 power card that has something like once per turn. Whenever you return 2 or more Dawn, I think it can draw a card. So we're going to swing 5 into the leader here. We are going to attach 2 to the brand new, minus 2 more to the ulti. We're going to swing for 5 more. So swing 5, swing 5. We're going to swing 6 and play out a Brook here. Okay, we're just waiting on them. Okay, minus 1 there. We're going to swing in for 6. They take it. They're down to 2 life. We're going to play out the ulti and, play out the Brook, KOing the ulti, and they are in deep trouble at this point. My board is looking good. We're going to follow up with a Jack next turn. We're kind of just playing on curve here. Okay, they play out Hakai Ocean Sovereignty, and they clear up my board. That was a really nice interaction for them. They're going to swing in for 5. I think we're just going to counter, or we just take it. Excuse me, I think we probably should have countered out. That was a little bit greedy. All right, we're going to swing in for 6 here. And then we're just going to play out the Jack, I believe, and just start clearing up the board. Play this out, do some cycling. Very nice. We got the 10-cost Kuzan for next turn, right on curve. And we're in a very good spot. We're going to trash the Daw there, getting rid of one of the ultis and pass the turn. Okay, so let's see what happens next here. They have 8 cards in hand, though. They should have a lot of answers for whatever I have on the board here, or at least something to, to interact with me here. Okay, just waiting on them. They're probably considering how they want to get rid of this card. They play out another ulti. They play out, so let me pause real quick. Here's the 6-cost ulti we were just looking at. This is a new promo. I mean, I say new. It's a block 3 promo card. It's a 6-cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter card, character card, with once per turn, when 2 or more of your Dawn are returned to your Dawn deck, add up to 1 Dawn deck from your deck as rested, then set up to 1 purple stage as active. Excuse me, so it doesn't draw a card. It sets a Dawn it basically gives you a Dawn back. And then it sets your stage as active in case you're running the Onigashima. All right, here we go. So just reading that real quick. Now, they're going to load up for 9 into 8. Well, that's an easy 2K counter for us. We had 4 2Ks in hand. We're going to 2K counter out of that every time. They have 1 Dawn as active. So I think this is an interesting game here, guys. Watch this. We're going to swing for 5. Sometimes you have to adapt your play lines based on the reactions your opponent gives you. Okay, watch this. Swing for 5. I'm just poking them. Oh. So you're going to take the 5k hit when I have an 8,000 power character on the board. Well, what do you guys think my next play is going to be? So who knows? Who can predict my next play here? They have 1 Dawn active, 0 life. We have an 8,000 power character on the board with 10 active Dawn. They have no blocker, no way to misdirect things. What do you guys think I'm about to do here? That's right. That's right. Congratulations to everyone who said swing for 18,000. He does a blast breath to get to 9. He's going to go 1k, and that's it. Okay, so again, I don't know why they didn't just use a blast breath or the 1k to get out of my leader attack and then, go from there. But I guess maybe they were hoping I didn't catch on to what was happening, because then they could have just, I don't know. If they had done the blast breath to get out of my 5k, then I probably would have just swung for like 7 with brand new and then try to go for lethal with my, with my Jack. Maybe something along those lines. And then we still could have developed a blocker and gone from there and all that good stuff. Who knows? Either way, good game to my opponent. That was a rough spot to be in. Good old Purple Kaido, man. Still, people still love running that leader. And I get it. That Purple Kaido is a really cool leader. Like, having the ability to just rip life on your leader's effect is really cool, but he never really saw the support he needed, and I don't know if that's what they intended for Purple to be, as like this Dawn minus, this Dawn minus color that rips life. I don't think that was like the main thing they were going for there. Okay, good game. We got one more game to go over. We got a game versus Green Yellow Law. Okay, volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. Oh, man. Very fun deck to play here, I have to say, guys. I did struggle. We'll talk about that afterwards. This leader was quite the struggle for me, I'm not going to lie. Because I was only playing into OP11 stuff, obviously, because it's like OP11 cards in here with the new Navy stuff, the red Navy sword stuff, but yeah. Okay, right here, I think we're just going to swing for 5 into 1. I just want to get that card off the board and develop a Kuzan. If you can develop a Kuzan into an empty board like this, you are in good shape. So now, no matter what they play next turn, I can just remove it with my Brook. Okay, they're going to play out a Cavendish. They get 2 Dawn as active. Okay, they had no 1-drop play to be able to pull something back. That's unfortunate for them. But hey, we're not complaining. We're just going to swing for 5 first, poking in, -4 there. What does he want to give me? A life. Okay, a 5k poke. We get a life for it. We'll take it every time. Play out the Brook. That card's gone. We're going to play out the brand new next, do some searching. We grab the Borsalina that allows us to attack into active characters. That might come in very handy here. And now we're going to swing it for 6. They 2K counter out of that one. And they have 7 cards in hand. They have 7 cards in their hand. They're going to play out Hody Jones. That's frustrating. They're going to go 5 and a 4, and I'm actually going to save this with a 1K, 1K. We have no 2K counters, guys. No 2K counters. I save it with a double Borsalino. Then they go 8 into 4, and in my mind, I'm thinking, wait a minute. Why did you attack into that? Why did you attack into the Brook over the Kuzan? But hey, that's their choice. That's fine with me. We're going to swing for 5. We're going to drop down the Hody Jones there, and then we're going to attach 2 to brand new. Actually, we might go swing 6, and then play out a Rebecca. So that card's going to be a 0. We're going to swing for 6 into 5 here. We're whittling down their hand and their life. Attach a Dawn to the leader. Swing for 6. They give us another 2K. We play out the Rebecca. We get out the Brook. We get rid of it, and they're just going to give up. The game is basically over. Look at our board. They don't have any more ways to rush. Next turn, the best they could have offered was to play out this Trafalgar Law, gaining a life with something like the Joy Bonnie or the Trafalgar Law, and then go from there and swinging everything they can into my Kuzan or my Brook, but we're just going to block with Rebecca, and now I've got really bad news for my opponent. From this point on, they just cannot, they'll never be able to establish another card. Now Hody Jones is the best thing they can do, but remember, they're losing life when they play this card out. But in this situation here, their best play, like I said, would have been to play out the Trafalgar Law to gain a life, but it doesn't really matter. Wherever they swing, we're blocking with Rebecca, and then we're going to start playing out cards from there, like the 10-cost Kuzan, and they're just in very, very large amounts of trouble from that point onward. Okay, good game to my opponent. That was a fun one. Good game to all my opponents. All right, let's go ahead and check out the deck list one more time, guys, just to kind of recap. There is a card that I'd like to add to this. Like, some of these new Navy cards from OP11 are actually really solid. Let me bring up red and black cards from OP11. This Smoker is a 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1K counter blocker, but I will say in the version that I'm running, even though it is a red-black leader, I'm going to try and keep the deck as black as possible as opposed to red, because I want to have access to more targets with my Sengoku, my Rebecca, and my Moncherie. Like, I want to have this combo pumping at all times. So, like, in this situation here, I think a good card for the deck might be this Kuzan. This might be the next thing that I mess around with in here. I think I might even replace the Hibari. This card right here, Hibari, with Kuzan, because they both have the when attacking to allow your stuff to attack into active characters. But here's the thing. Hibari has when attacking, this character gets plus 1,000, so you swing for 7 just for attacking. But then, if your leader has the Navy type, up to one of your leaders may attack active characters. Well, the Kuzan is a 4-cost 5K and has a 1K counter, so we get to play it out on curve going second. And by the way, we do prefer going second every time, so we can slam down the Kuzan on curve after playing down something like a Jack, right? And we can go right into Kuzan. You know, in our 6-Dawn play, we have a lot of different options with 4-cost and 2-cost combos. Or not even 2-cost combos, just like brand new on a 4-cost, or even just like attaching stuff to our leader going from there. We have a lot of options on the 6-Dawn play. But our 8-Dawn play, we want to go Jack into Kuzan pretty much every time, developing as best as we can. But here's the thing, and if we add this Kuzan over something like the Hibari, we go up one, we lose a brick in our hand to go up 1K counter. We go up another target for Sengoku and Rebecca, and Moncherie technically. And then we also have a way to trash cards in our, from the top of our deck. And then when attacking, listen to this when attacking, up to one of your leaders or characters with the Navy type can attack active characters during this turn. So I get one additional layer of like utility there, whereas Hibari can only allow for your leader to attack active. So, excuse me. So that's really about it, though. I think this is the only card I'd really consider from here. Cards that seemed like they were overperforming for me in my testing. This doll was really nice into the blue-purple matchup, so maybe there's some logic to go plus one of these instead of the Borsalino. But in that last game, we did have the Borsalino in hand in case we needed to attack into active. So who knows? We'll have to really consider things there. But I'm at the point, I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm kind of at the point with this deck here where I might just make it into an all-black deck. Even though it's red-black Garp, I think I just want to run with the all-black package and then just maybe run some Searcher Peacocks just to, like, search what I need to. But who knows? We'll have to see. Tell me what you guys think in the comments section below. But, yeah, Garp running pretty well. But I'll say this. I'll try to give an example of how things went for me. In my playtesting, I kind of broke even. Actually, I think I was even a little bit lower than even. When I was doing my playtesting, I think I went like 5 wins, 5 losses. These were not easy games. I may have even been negative, like I said, like 5-6 or 5-7, like 5 wins, 6 or 7 losses. Just trying to be honest with you guys. Now, you know, a lot of that sometimes is like doing like quick testing, like just to see my hand and then I leave. You know what I mean? One of those things where it's like, okay, I like that and I have to move cards around. But you know, I'm just going to tell you right now that these were tough games. These hopefully that blue-purple Luffy match kind of showed how tough the games were, where it's like one mistake actually pretty much kind of cost me the game, but luckily my opponent made a mistake by, you know, with that whole Usohachi interaction. That will be a mystery. Again, I don't know if he tried to blind rip that off the top or what, but he should have just grabbed the Usohachi, rest down my guy, and swing everything at face. That's what makes me think he did the blind rip like that. But who knows? Because he was down to 11 cards left in his deck. I think he was looking for targets and just shuffling everything to the bottom. Again, who knows and how can we know? now that that's all done with. But yeah, this is the deck's running very well. Let me just say that the deck is running very well, but it still struggles. I don't know. I think it depends on what you're going into. I didn't find any green purple Luffys on in my testing, but I do think this leader would be pretty good in the green purple Luffy, because we don't really care about their stage with this leader effect, because we could just attach Dawn to our board, attacking into their board while lowering their cost and going into things from there. And against that matchup, see, I do think the doll needs to stay in here. Yeah, if I were to make any revisions, let me just try to make some quick revisions, guys. I think I would drop the 2 Hibari, 2 Borsalino. I think I only need 3 dolls in here. I think that's actually a fine number. And then what I want to go up is 4 of these Kuzans. Let me go plus 4 of these Kuzans, and I'll drop the leader out so it all fits on one little page here. And I think I'm even going to drop down 1 Peacock and use it just as a searcher for like a last-ditch effort kind of thing. And I'll go plus 1 doll, because that card is nice. Like, think of it like this. Okay, hear me out. Even if I don't need to, like, say I don't need to get rid of anything, it's still a 4-cost blocker at the end of the day and a 1K counter. But if I really need to get something off the board, think about how this will combo with something like this Kuzan. Like, think about if I can, you know, if I establish this Kuzan on turn 2, right? So on curve, let's just go, you know, Magical Christmas Land, Dream Curve, turn 1 brand new, turn 2 Kuzan. Okay, whatever they played, I'm probably going to be able to remove it right on curve, because now when I attack in with my Kuzan, I'll make it where my Navy leader can attack. I mean, shoot, at that point, maybe I'll make it where my brand new can attack, and then I drop down doll, and then minus whatever their character, and then I'll attack into their active character from there. Like, it's just an option. I'm just giving it, like, one possible situation there. But having access to red, the best part about red for what we're trying to do is the is the power reduction. So there is some idea to run doll in here, or if you just don't like this card, I do understand that. Maybe there's, like, in Navy with this whole package we're running, like bringing cards back from the trash with Sengoku, Montre, and Rebecca, it does kind of have a negative synergy in that regard. But who knows, maybe we run Honesty Impact in the place of it, because this card allows us to hit some pretty big targets. I think this would be a pretty decent addition to the deck. We'll have to do some more testing in the future. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got for y'all. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell me what y'all think about in the comment section below. Please be nice. You know, I was testing this deck out. I'm sure I was making plenty of play mistakes. This is not a deck that I've played a bunch of times. You know, in fact, it's a leader I don't really like the way that red-black is as a color combination. Well, not yet. I do like the direction they're going with it with red-black Kobe, and like how red-black Sabo was, going into more like the red-black color pool is now almost like a protection theme. That's pretty cool, and I'll probably explore that in the future. But I was not a huge fan of how red-black Garp was, and it makes me want to play it more as like just a strict black deck, at which point you're a 4-life leader for almost no reason, right? But who knows? We'll have to figure things out in the future. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. All right, I'm done, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Hey, guys, if you are liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're supporting me through donations on Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, part of the Discord community, however you're helping me out, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. It means a lot to me. This community has been amazing so far. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Till next time, peace.